Hello, and welcome to Sports by Compian. My name is, of course, Stephen Compian. We are joined here by Corey, as always, and we have a very special guest, a powerful number 12 out of SU University, Mr. Cooper O'Connell. This kid has ran over more children than, some people have in a whole lifetime. And Cooper, how many tries do you think you have in your whole career if we're counting high school back when you're dominating in the Doyle dormitories of the all
Close
Catholics?
enough. Doyle, we'll take it. It's Doylestown.
Oh, close. But yeah, thanks you for joining us here, Cooper. How are you on this fine day?
I'm good, man. Happy to talk some football.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's still pretty jarring that we already made it to the preseason. I'm going to the first Patriots game in a week, so I get to see all the young guys compete up close. So
Wow, good time.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, and I see you're wearing your Celtics jersey. You're just an all Boston type of guy, huh?
Yeah, I was born in Framingham, man. So
Okay.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I don't know how God decided to put me in Boston for a few years before I moved to PA, but I am really glad that I'm not a Philly fan.
So you just were born into greatness, you could say, huh?
Fair.
What was that?
Just born where all the teams are winning.
Yeah, he was just born into greatness, you could say. I mean, it had a pivotal point in the Boston winning history because they just suddenly took off on this crazy franchise run with this guy named Tom Brady. It was kind of a weird run, but now, Corey, the Tom Brady days are in the past, the rearview mirror, if you will. They are now moved on to a young but talented Mac Jones, who they say now has the body of an athlete. No longer cigar belly. I mean, let's be honest though, he just has a dad bod. That's what most dudes look like, and he's a quarterback, so it's not exactly like he has to look buff anyway. I'm sure they caught him at a bad angle too. But either way, definitely amusing when that picture was going around the internet. But I think he proved a lot of people wrong last year. Played steady, calm football. He won a game where I think he threw 3 passes overall. So there's this guy.
Whatever it takes.
This dude follows instructions. But Cooper, why don't you go ahead and break it down for us? We're gonna go ahead and have a look at this young Patriots roster, right?
Yeah. Mac Jones was Belichick's perfect soldier. The kid's a fucking genius. They liked him so much because apparently in the football IQ department, he was already miles ahead of the other quarterbacks. It's kind of crazy looking back now because it seems so obvious, but cutting Cam Newton right before the season started last year was probably the biggest move of the offseason, in terms of cuts at least. And, I
you
thought
weren't paying him much, were you?
What was that?
You weren't paying him much, were you? Or is it just to not have him distract Mac Jones?
It wasn't that. It was that. It was the
we weren't paying Cam a lot. We gave Cam a pretty incentive laden contract, so it was basically like if he was good enough, he would have gotten paid a lot. And honestly, watching the preseason and following training camp, Cam actually seemed like he was making pretty good progress. But if it's a close battle between an old guy whose shoulder is falling off and then a young rookie, obviously you want to invest in the young rookie. So
no, that's what I mean. Like looking at it from an outsider in, you see this situation all the time where the team goes ahead and they draft their future, but they still got somebody in the intermediate who could kind of play, kind of do his thing. We've seen it 100 times with guys like Josh McCown, Ryan Fitzpatrick, as they welcome in the next generation of quarterbacks. And sometimes you see the whole controversy. They go to week 3, week 4, week 5 before they're finally like, all right, get that rookie in there. Unless you're Trevor Lawrence, right, who's getting drafted first overall and just thrown right into the fire. Good luck, kid. You and your beautiful hair. Good luck out there. But most of these guys, like for example, Justin Fields was waiting behind Big Dick Rich for most of the year. So yeah, it was just kind of cool that Bill Belichick, she's an OG, would just put absolute belief in this rookie. It was just sorry, Cam, we appreciate what you've done for this organization, which I never was a Cam guy, really, because he just kicked the shit out of the Buccaneers too much. But, I think I started to like him towards the end of his career, and you heard about how hard he was working to try to make that work for the Patriots, and, you got to root for a guy like that who's working hard. But, yeah, it was crazy. I think we were all pretty shocked to see that to start the year.
yeah, well, the other thing with that too is that McDaniels basically had to create a new offense for Cam Newton when we got him.
Yeah.
Obviously Cam and Brady don't have the same skill sets, so on top of the fact that it is a distraction for Mac Jones, I don't think it's good for a rookie to have another quarterback breathing down his neck if he makes a mistake. It's probably not good for his growth. I really didn't agree with the way they handled that in Miami with Tua and Fitzpatrick, for instance. But yeah, so if we kept Cam Newton on and there was a situation where we had to bring him in, we basically had to have two different playbooks to accommodate each quarterback. So it also kind of just made everyone's lives a little bit easier in that department too. And luckily Max stayed on the field the whole season, so it wasn't really a problem anyway.
Yeah, I mean the guy just, it's good to see. I guess not a lot of these Alabama quarterbacks panning out. Like we got two out there, but I mean, can we think of any other Alabama quarterbacks like those on the
Jalen Hurts, if you want to count him.
Yeah, but that's also pretty recent.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. Like I guess before that was that McElroy guy, right? Wasn't McElroy from over?
McCarron was a 4-year starter for them, so that was 4 years of quarterbacks that just didn't come out of Alabama. And McCarron he's been a career backup.
He's a career backup.
Yeah.
Hey, well, at least
he's not bad, but
yeah, I mean, hey, dude, being a career backup in the NFL is a fucking hell of a gig.
Yeah.
I think one that many people would sign up for. But anyway, it is just cool to see an Alabama quarterback. The guy's been a professional since he's came into the league, so I'm eager to see what he does here too. Well, let's have a look at the rest of this roster, though, Cooper. So we got Nelson Aguilar. The dude's been bouncing around the league a lot lately, but I think he's still a talented wide receiver. I'm sure you feel the same.
Yeah. Right now with Aguilar, so we drafted Daquan Thornton. He's a speedy receiver out of Baylor, and he's having a really good training camp. Normally in the Patriots system, it takes receivers longer than other systems to kind of get acclimated to it. It's a lot of quick reactions during the play, a lot of option routes. It kind of takes a lot of good field vision to successfully run our offense. That's why Brady would kick guys out so much. A lot of the young guys just couldn't get in touch quickly enough.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, how many fucking wide receivers have come out of the Patriots that you guys have actually drafted over the last 10 years or so? It's true. It seems like they're struggling to learn the playbook down there.
Yeah. Edelman obviously is the big one, but we got him in 2009. That was a really long time ago.
Round pick too, right?
We struck out on N'Keal Harry. We struck out on Aaron Dobson. We struck out on Kembrell Tompkins. Yeah, I think Thornton is, hopefully a trend in the right direction there, but I try not to overreact too much to training camp storylines.
Oh, here he is, Thornton, right here. They don't have a picture of you boy yet.
Yeah, he's still rocking the number 51 rookie jersey. Belichick makes all the rookies wear numbers in the 50s.
That's awesome.
You got to earn their number. Yeah.
Let's go, baby. Dude, that's hilarious. But dude, well, all right. So then there's this Matthew Slater guy who you hear a lot about, but he's primarily a special teamer, right? And then they traded for Devontae Adams this offseason, which I forgot about.
Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker. Who do you think is going to be the number one receiver in that room? Then are you thinking Nelson Aguilar is going to beat out these other two and lead the room, or are you thinking this rookie is going to really emerge?
No, I mean I don't think any of our receivers are insanely better than the other.
Yeah.
I think Devontae Parker is clearly the best receiver on the team right now. The only issue with him is just staying on the field.
Yeah. He has been one of those injury-prone guys, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. One thing I'm thinking about too is I think Ramondre Stevenson out of the backfield is going to be more of a receiving threat too next year. He's been working on that a lot because I think he deserves more of a role in the offense than just splitting carries with Damian Harris at this point. And Harris is great too. So, yeah, James White, he was that guy for us for a really long time. He got pretty badly hurt. He had the same injury that knocked out Bo Jackson out of his career.
Yeah.
And he's trying to come back now, but the way I see it, I think Ty Montgomery is going to end up getting that running back spot instead. I don't know if James White can really play football at this point.
Well, he's 28 now, so that's really where the tires start to come off for running backs, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's definitely going to have an uphill battle sort of winning that position back. But yes, I agree that the Patriots' strength seems to be in the run game. So as usual, they're putting out good running backs. That's one thing that they've always seemed to have over there is a guy who can get through and pick up those heavy yards and decent running backs in general. I saw you guys got Malcolm Butler back, the GOAT.
Yeah. Obviously, whenever you get a player back like him who won you a Super Bowl, you're pretty happy about it. But he's been getting cooked in training camp, so
happy.
I think things are going in the right direction for him. I think 33.
That's a little old for a corner.
Yeah. I don't see him having a massive role on the defense the way it is right now.
Right.
I think this dude, Terrence Mitchell, that we signed from Houston, is on track to be our number 2 corner, and we have probably 5 really good safeties. I mean, maybe not really good, but 5 safeties who can definitely contribute more than our corner depth will.
Interesting.
And I think overall, the Patriots run a lot of nickel packages. Like, they have even 5, 6, 7 DBs in the field at a time. So we went out and got Jabril Peppers this offseason, despite already having Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips, and Devin McCourty. So, I mean, Belichick likes guys like that who can play in coverage and play in the box. He wants to run a tricky defense like always. He wants to run a lot of zero blitzes, and having guys roaming the field like Duggar, Adrian Phillips, and Peppers specifically is going to be, I think that's going to be really effective with them.
Do you think you're going to see more out of Hunter Henry this year?
I don't know if we really need to see more of Hunter Henry next year. Obviously, I'd like to, but I think what we need to build on is getting Jonnu Smith to earn his money. You know,
yeah.
He only
played. I thought you guys had traded him, but he's still there, right?
No, well, we signed him to a 4-year deal last year, okay. And he wasn't really present for minicamp or OTAs or any of that stuff. He played 18% of our offensive snaps last year, so his low production is kind of a byproduct of that, but obviously if the coaches aren't putting him out there, they don't see something right with him.
Yeah.
But the narrative in the locker room right now is completely changed around Jonnu Smith. Again, it's just training camp talk, so I'm not trying to act like it's the end-all be-all, but we gave Jakob Johnson to Josh McDaniels in Vegas, basically, because we cut the fullback role out of our offense. Jakob Johnson was a great fullback, but we told him there's really not a need for you anymore. So the expectation is that Jonnu Smith's going to get a lot more looks in the backfield just to have him on the field more. And he's an incredible athlete. You know, it's just getting up to speed with the rest of the team and the offense for him.
I mean, I think he's kind of at the point in his career where he really needs to put up something. I mean, he's kind of always been this expectation player with the Titans too. So I guess it'd be interesting to see him take that next step, or something. The dude's kind of just been around, and everyone's paying the guy money. I was surprised whenever he got paid as much as he did, but I guess we'll see. He might make Belichick look awesome. With those two tight end set, I'm here for it. So going over this schedule. Sorry, I got my throat all caught up here. Anyway, you guys start out with Miami. Now, this is a team that's been revamped. They're trying to buy themselves a Super Bowl, but they got one big problem. Well, maybe not one big problem, but they got two of there, and they've let it be known, sort of, that they don't quite buy into this kid. Are you worried about these Miami Dolphins, Cooper?
Yeah, because no matter how bad they are, they'll always beat the Patriots. That's just kind of how it is.
Are you usually 1-1 with them, or do they usually sweep you?
We usually go 1-1 with them. They swept us last year, though, so that kind of hurt. I think overall, the Dolphins are pretty hyped up going into next year. A lot of people are really, really high on them.
Yeah.
For me, I'm usually cautious. What was that?
They got Tyreek Hill now?
Yeah, they got Tyreek Hill. They added Chase Edmonds, too. They had a pretty good offseason, all things considered, but I think in the NFL, that kind of... having a big offseason in the NFL, I think, doesn't always translate the way that it does in other sports.
Of course.
Because overall coaching is going to be the end-all, be-all of if you can make it work or not. And I'm usually cautious about a team that has a first-year coach and a quarterback with question marks. So that's the Dolphins. They'll beat the Patriots, I'm sure, but I don't think they're going to be a massive threat in the AFC.
Okay.
It's also just, going to be impossible for anybody to compete in the
game.
AFC.
They might come out juiced up in this first game and take that first one. But then you guys got Steelers the next week, and this is a Steelers team that's definitely searching for answers at the quarterback position. I think you guys could take that game. What do you think?
Yeah, our offense is probably going to struggle a bit, but whatever ends up happening in that game, Belichick's going to give whatever quarterback goes out there, whether it's Trubisky or Pickett. Belichick's going to make his head spin like he always does with young quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they're going to pull off that one. I think you guys are going to run into a buzzsaw here with the Baltimore Ravens and a young Lamar Jackson who's trying to get paid this season. The dude's just betting on himself, like the complete opposite of what's going on with Kyle Murray. He's just like, talk to you guys in the next year. I'm trying to play some football here.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be our defense's maybe not. I think Miami is probably going to be our first test, but that's going to be our first test with the mobile quarterback, which I'm pretty interested to see because we added a ton of speed this offseason. I mean, after Josh Allen traumatized us, it became pretty evident that the NFL was going in a direction that the Patriots just weren't really ready to deal with yet.
Right.
And that playoff game was just a massacre. So I want to see what our new young linebackers can do about Lamar Jackson and his mobility.
Well, and then we also got the Packers next. Now, that's not a mobile quarterback, but probably the fastest release in the whole NFL. Somehow, I'm not worried that the guy doesn't have too many receivers. I'm very close with multiple Packers fans, and they're not super worried either because, they're all believing their alien boy, Mr. Ed Lazard himself. But, well, also Aaron Rodgers is also an alien, but yeah, so this is probably going to still be a dangerous Packers team. I'm sorry, Corey, go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers attributes his back-to-back MVPs to ayahuasca.
Does he really?
He went, he did ayahuasca, and he's like, yeah, no, gave me a whole different perspective on football, and I did it and won back-to-back MVPs. I'm just out here having fun with it now, and it's just crazy that he just lost in the sauce with the with the hippie life now.
He is having a good old hippie life these last 2 years. It's been good for him. He's getting paid accordingly. Dude's having some massive paydays. So what do we think, Cooper? Are we dropping the ball there against the Packers?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall they're a better team than us, but I could see us winning that game. It really depends on. I have no idea what to expect from the Packers offense. I mean,
it's in Lambeau.
I don't.
So that's going.
I don't really disagree with Packers fans still being confident. I think as long as you still have your all-star quarterback and a good head coach, make that kind of thing work. I mean, Brady made shitty receiving cores work for most of his career.
100%. So has Rodgers, really, for that matter. Like, Rodgers has always had one or two decent guys, but those guys go elsewhere and they're usually not very good. I mean, I don't know.
Rodgers had Jordy Nelson. He had Randall Cobb. He had Greg Jennings to start his career.
He ran the wheels off Jordy Nelson. By the time Jordy Nelson got out of there, he was done. Same with Greg Jennings. Same with Donald Driver. Same with Randall Cobb, for that matter. It's not like Randall Cobb made a name for himself outside of the Packers. So yeah, I don't know. He definitely runs the wheels off these guys. Either that or they're not as good.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the thing with the Patriots, when I think about them going against a guy like Aaron Rodgers, is one, he's one of the only two quarterbacks that Belichick would never use a zero blitz against. Yeah. That's the scheme that made Sam Darnold see ghosts. It's where you would blitz a bunch of players, then everybody who had a blocker blocking them would drop into coverage, and everybody who was unblocked would just keep going.
Man.
So Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson are the two dudes that he won't do it against because they're just going to cook him on it. Without a strong receiving core, they lost Valdez-Scantling too, so that's a massive deep threat that they're. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they did to replace him. I know they drafted somebody, but
they drafted a couple guys.
Right now, it's a rookie and Alan Lazard are Rodgers' two top options.
Two rookies. I think they also have. Who else was it? I don't know, but I've heard Tanya on a podcast once, and he talked about manifestation with his brain and whatnot. If he's keeping that path, he's going to continue to be a good tight end. He got an unlucky break with injury last year. Anyway, the Packers are a topic for another whole podcast because I do have multiple Packers fans over there. But I think they're going to drop this game, Coop. So we're probably looking at 1-3 to start the season here.
1-3? How the hell do we get to 1-3?
All right, let's back it up real quick here. But so we got
I mean, I don't I can't do the game by game ones. I can tell you that I think they're probably a 10-win team next year.
Really?
I'm down to talk about it game by game, but you know that they're gonna lose some game they're supposed to win, and they're gonna win some game they're supposed to lose.
I mean, we're just bullshitting to bullshit because
I gotcha.
We have no idea what any of these teams are gonna look like really, but we're basing it off of last year a little bit. But yeah, just to say, but. Yeah, looking at 1-3, dude. Because
I'd give us 2-2 in that first stretch.
All right. Well, then we're taking that first game against Miami then, because I don't know. Well, I guess Miami or the Packers you could beat, so that's fair.
I'll give us 2-2 in that first stretch. I'll play conservative.
I think you guys beat the Lions because
you got to be careful about your kneecaps, though. They might bite your kneecaps on the way down.
We might have some bitten kneecaps, but I think you guys still get out of there with a win. Same thing against the Cleveland Browns, who Deshaun Watson's not going to be back by this game. If that's all it ends up being, is only 6 games.
If he's back at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So he will still not be back for that one. So I think you guys take that Cleveland game. Then you got the Bears, also a very likely win game here. And wow, all right, so we're stacking these now. If you came out,
Yeah, well, once you get to November and December, it's going to be a lot less fun.
Dude,
That's where it gets really hard for us.
Well, you better stack these wins then, because you could be 5-2 going into this game against the Jets, which could easily be a 6-2 game. And then the Colts is going to be a challenge. What do you think about the Colts? You think you guys got?
I like them.
Yeah, I like the Colts too. I think they're going to be an interesting team this year.
I think they're going to win their division next year. Their division isn't that good to begin with, but I think they're more of a complete team than the Titans right now.
For sure. Yeah, the Titans are, I don't know, they seem to be floundering over there. I feel like they've been in a position to be really good for a while now and just haven't quite been able to get over the hump. So, we'll see what happens. And then they got the Jets again. That's good times. But, do you think they're going to split against the Jets? Do you think they got both of those?
I will never take the Jets to beat the Patriots until I see Zach Wilson play a competent football game against Bill Belichick. That's fair. I'm taking 2-0 against the Jets.
Hey, they might get that kid White back. The dude that threw like fucking 4 touchdowns in a game and then broke his finger.
White?
What if the man comes back?
He should have been a first-round draft pick. What happened to Mike White?
Yeah, what if Mike White just comes back and steals Zach Wilson's position? Like, that guy, he's like, I'm finally showed the NFL. Disappears the next week.
What a flash!
Well, apparently Joe Flacco is out playing Zach Wilson in training camp right now. Have you seen that?
I've heard
he's still in the league.
I've heard the coach get very excited about Joe Flacco again. Like, he should be a starter
Oh
somewhere.
man!
Like, what, dude? It's Joe Flacco. Well, calm down.
Yeah, I think he's trying to just get some straight value.
Yeah, I think so. But it's literally like, I mean, not to be an asshole, but if you have Joe Flacco starting for you, you're probably not winning the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, the Browns might need him. Didn't they finally ship off, what's his face? Baker Mayfield? Didn't he finally get out of there?
Yeah, but
they sent him to Carolina.
They got Jacoby Brissett. They'll be okay.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Brissett's a serviceable backup, and I think he'll be fine for the 6 games that they're going to be without Watson for.
It's probably going to be more than 6 games, bro.
But if the NFL appeal goes through, I'm not sure if they're going to want to hang on to Brissett for that long. They might even bite on Garoppolo, They might just need a smaller upgrade. I think Brissett's fine, though.
I don't mind him either. I don't know if he's like a, going to win you the game type of guy. But hopefully he won't make big mistakes.
I'd rather have Brissett than who Seattle has right now.
You're not wrong. Good old Geno Smith himself, you're not buying in?
Yeah, I don't believe that Pete Carroll's going into his season with these guys as 2 quarterbacks.
So Seattle, they have Drew Lock, don't they? Yeah, Drew Lock is a starter over there, I believe.
Did he beat out? I think it's still up in the air.
Yeah, it's him and Geno competing right now. I don't think they named a starter yet.
Anyway.
But there's also a lot of rumors that they're working out a deal for Garoppolo, too.
Oh.
Hmm.
Hey, well, let's see.
So we'll see how that goes.
Point to pause here real quick and go into our first non-sponsor sponsor of the day. Corey, do you have that non-sponsor sponsor for us?
I for sure do, Steven. I have...
For the fine people.
What is this called? Power and Brightness Rainbow.
Power and Brightness
This is a fabulous cream to apply to your tattoos for, moisturizing. This is specifically for color tattoos because I like color in my tattoos, and this helps the color, I believe. I don't know, that's what the dude that sold me told me. So, moisturize your tattoos and do it with Rainbow.
Rainbow! Hell yeah, I love it, dude. I actually need that in my life because I'm going to get my tattoo touched up after the season, so... I'm going to moisturize it, and I'm going to use
moisturize the shit out of it.
Rainbow tattoo.
Get Rainbow.
Yeah.
Rainbow.
Anyway, let's wrap up this.
Powerful brightness.
Let's see what you think about this. So we got the Vikings. Could easily take that game. Run into the good old Buffalo Bills. Do you think you're going to split them? Do you think you're going to get swept? Do you think you'll sweep them? What do you think about these Bills? Super Bowl favorites.
1-on-1. I think we lose one. I think we win one.
I love it.
I think they're going to be a better team than us, but I think we split with Buffalo this year.
Yeah.
I think Belichick's entire philosophy going into the offseason is like slightly based on the saltiness from getting shit on by Buffalo twice in a row, and
Yeah.
we're remodeling our defense to be able to compete with teams like Buffalo. That, like in that playoff game, Jalen Mills was hurt, and a lot of people like to rag on Jalen Mills, but that was actually a huge loss for us because
Sure, yeah.
after him, the depth, like the level of play, drops a lot in our depth chart after Jalen Mills got hurt.
I believe it.
And having J.C. Jackson and our safeties out there, they're not terrible, but the problem was we couldn't cover like Isaiah McKenzie, or Gabriel Davis, or some of the third, fourth options on Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I believe that because you guys know him so well, you could easily split that. What were you gonna say?
Quick question though. How do you guys feel about Thursday Night Football going over to Amazon Prime? You can't watch it on your TV. You're going to have to watch it on your computer unless you have like a smart TV. It's not on any networks. You have to have Amazon Prime to watch these Thursday night games. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm alright with it. It's cheaper than cable. Way more useful.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're probably the only games I'm going to be able to watch.
If you
we
get
have, like,
NFL
some
Game
kind of
Pass, you
weird
could also
cable
just watch it on that too, right?
What's that?
The NFL just
I don't
released
know.
the Game Pass.
So
The Game Pass will give you like all the national games pretty much. I can't remember if Thursday Night Football is also included on it, but you get like the national game for your local network for like CBS and Fox on Sunday.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you get primetime games too.
Gotcha. I might.
But,
I heard it was exclusive to Amazon because they wanted to force people into getting Amazon Prime to watch these games.
That might be true. I haven't really thought of a way I'm supposed to watch it yet. Like, I don't like to do illegal streaming during the season because it's not reliable enough.
Yeah.
I'll do that for
Right.
other sports. I did that for like the entire NBA playoffs, but
Well,
I don't want to have to
this
get
is
up and
on the
change
NFL.
my website every 5 minutes when I'm watching Red Zone.
Yeah.
But
This
what
is
I did
100%
notice
NFL.
with the Amazon thing, though, what I did notice is that I think the deal is probably better, like from an entertainment standpoint, as long as watching the games isn't a total bitch, because Amazon got a lot of really good games. Thursday Night Football is usually all stinkers, and if you pull up the Thursday Night Football schedule this year, it's all games you would think you'd see on like Sunday Night Football. It's banger after banger. Week 2 is Chargers Chiefs. That might be like the biggest matchup for their division.
Another
That's
big
happening
win.
Week 2 Thursday Night Football.
We're going to get Ryan Fitzmagic as a commentator. I think he, when he retired, he signed with Amazon Prime to do the Thursday night games.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I heard that many moons ago whenever he retired, but I haven't heard anything to the contrary, so I think that's still on.
Huh. That would be fun, actually. Well,
Yeah, no, I'm happy for him.
I think it's gonna be good. I think all these moving to the streaming services are fine. But all I was gonna say is this is on the NFL, man. At this point, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm here with you, Cooper. I'm here to pay whatever the price is and be able to watch this shit. But you pay for Game Pass. It's the audio version during the games. Who the fuck is gonna pay $120 to listen to the audio of your team? Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw that.
The plus thing or whatever. It's also ridiculous. Like you only get the primetime games, or you get the replay afterwards. So it's like, man, just
Crazy.
fucking make it easier. Like, tell me how the fuck to pay you money so I can watch my fucking team. Like, I'm an out-of-market fan. I need to be able to fucking watch the Buccaneers. Why is this so hard? Like, goddamn.
Whatever I have to pay to have Red Zone an inch away from my face, I'll pay it. Just
Just
make
do
it simple.
Do it, dude.
I don't know why NFL Plus doesn't have Red Zone on it.
Straight up, make your charge us more if that's what you need to do. But just give me the ability to be able to fucking log in on 2 different TVs and have my Red Zone here and the Buccaneers here. I'm not asking for much, NFL. I'm not asking for much. Make it easier for me to give you money, please. Fucking guys. All right. Well, anyway, so you think a 10-win season? You got the Cardinals here. We got the Raiders. We got the Bengals.
Well, I want you to go back to I think week 10 and just without even stopping at each game, just look at game by game after this Jets game and look at how hard the schedule is. Yeah, week 12 and onwards.
Yeah, so we got the Vikings.
This is what we have to deal with closing out our season.
This is a nasty.
That's rough.
Season.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, this is real nasty.
That's a big yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes indeed.
And you still think you got a 10-game season out of this?
Yeah, because the Patriots usually
They just win.
they have a pretty complicated scheme on offense and defense going into the season, so they'll always struggle in September. and they hit their stride later in the season. So the team that's going to go out there and play Miami in Week 1 is going to be a lot worse, in my opinion, than the team that's going to go out there and play Minnesota on Thanksgiving. We have kind of like an obscure plan for the season. We haven't named any coordinators. I think Patricia's going to be our play caller for offense. It seems that's the way it's been going in training camp. But yeah, I think especially we're installing a new offense too that we're actually struggling with in camp, which isn't something to overreact to. But we're switching to a more zone heavy run scheme, which we did gap blocking pretty much all last year. But now that our offensive line is a little more athletic, adding Cole Strange, I think, is a big testament to that and what we're trying to accomplish with our O-line. But it's going to be tough to adjust to for the team starting out.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's funny how everyone's like trying to make a big deal out of this whole like, oh my god, they have no coordinators. What's going to happen? Oh no. It's like, guys, who gives a fuck? It's Bill Belichick. Like, he's going to be running the ship. We all know this. He's the Dark Wizard. He's going to be conjuring up all kinds of wickedness. Like, I don't know why people are like worried about these kind of things. They're like pretending like it's their first rodeo. Like, what could he be planning over there? I mean, probably going to the fucking playoffs. Like, what are you guys planning?
Well, Belichick's reputation as this, Dark Lord super genius is kind of slowly slipping away in terms of the public, because the more Brady succeeds without him, the more people are starting to think that Belichick might not have been all that great, which is a huge overreaction.
So dumb. And years from now, people won't. I mean, they probably will still debate it a little bit, but that's just so foolish to me. And even like his production over the last couple of years since Brady's left, just like, yeah, he had a talent depleted roster, which you could argue he's not a good GM. You could argue he's not a good GM, but as far as a coach goes, the dude's like over there winning games by throwing the ball 3 times, like in the modern NFL. That's pretty cool.
Did you guys see the Julian Edelman interview on I Am Athlete, where basically he was like, they're like, oh, so they're talking about you coming out to go play with Tom Brady again, and he was like, nah, dude, I'd go back to Bill Belichick. Like, I'm here for the fundamentally sound football team as opposed to the high flying athletes. Like, if you get to the playoffs where people are beat up and people are tired, the more fundamentally sound team, which is what Bill Belichick's going to build, like, he'll build the team out of hobos, and they'll just be, they know what they got to do. And Edelman actually basically picked Belichick over Brady.
And that's all funny. Yeah. That's fine, but let's just also point out the last 2 teams to win the Super Bowl more or less brought in a lot of free agents to make it happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it goes both ways. 100%. I think that was definitely the way. But it's just hard to compete whenever you get to the fucking playoffs and these people still have like 3 amazing options at receiver. You got monsters on the defense coming at you. Like, okay, you could be fundamentally sound as you want. These guys are fucking superstars. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, it only takes you so far until depth starts to really be an issue. I can look at the Patriots in the vacuum right now and be pretty optimistic about a lot of the guys that we have in starting roles, but we don't really have like the Rams can look at their receiver and like not even really have to worry about who their 4th and 5th guys are as much as we do.
Well, I just feel like
we don't have.
You had to like.
What was that?
Like back in the day, you had 1 or 2 superstars on these teams, right? Now you're looking at teams like the Rams, and it's like they got fucking Jalen Ramsey, they got Aaron Donald, they got Matthew Stafford, they got Cooper Kupp. It's like, holy cow, man. Any one of these guys could carry a team to a Super Bowl, and they got like multiple of them. So it's like, yeah, you got these teams like a lot of teams across the NFL are a little talent depleted, and it's like these young guys who may or may not pan out, and they're probably good, but fuck, when you get down to the playoffs, and it's like these experienced guys who are on these teams usually to chase a ring, it's hard to compete against. What were you going to say, though, Cooper?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, never mind. I cut you off there.
Oh, I was going to say that Bill Belichick's greatest accomplishment, more than winning 6 Super Bowls, was winning 7 games with the skeleton of Cam Newton at quarterback.
It's straight up!
I think that's the biggest testament to how amazing 100%. He is.
All due respect to Cam Newton. 100%.
Yeah, love you, Cam Newton, but, yeah. He was clearly past his expiration date at that point.
It's amazing that he managed to win 7 games like that. It's like, what is going on here? No, he's a hell of a coach. Anyone doubting that's utterly foolish. So just before we go ahead and go on to our New York Giants to wrap this up real quick, unless you got somewhere to be, Cooper.
No,
I don't
this
wanna,
is where I have to be.
I don't
So
want to hold you up, but we have a
I'm right
last.
where I have to be right now.
We got a last non-sponsor sponsor. Well, I got a non-sponsor sponsor, and if you want to put one in too, Cooper,
Oh, okay.
we're here for it. What was I gonna send? Oh yeah, this one.
Very, very professional setup here, Cooper. We find random things around us and then make an improvised commercial for it.
Reoccurring non-sponsor sponsor, but it's our boys who make those fucking Valhalla horns. Yeah, check this out. That's a much better angle. Look at that. The 20 ouncers. If you want to drink beer like a goddamn Viking, don't be a peasant. Get yourself one of these Valhalla Vineyards fucking beer horns, dude. Drink your beer like...
I sent you that for Christmas, right?
Yeah. We're here to drink. You know, I don't even know why it's still in this box. I should really be drinking more beer out of this beer horn. So, that is our non-sponsor sponsor of the day. Our second one, that is. Quite an excellent one, I might add. If you guys want to drink your beer like a Viking, that's the one for you. So, Goober, I wanted to cover an NFC team here. We know like maybe a couple of Giants fans, but they couldn't make it here. So instead, we will be covering this roster briefly and going over their schedule. This is
So just to ask, are you doing this for every team? Like, are you doing a little preview of every team?
We're gonna do the best we can before the season starts.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of wing it from there. But last week we did who did we did Seattle, Corey, who was a terrible NFC team.
Seattle and Buffalo, I think.
Oh yeah. We covered Buffalo. Yeah, so we covered Buffalo and Seattle. So it is funny that we once again are doing an AFC East team. But either way, we're once again covering a pretty terrible NFC team in general. Now this is a team
my big question was, I remember hearing somewhere that they were talking about Saquon Barkley changing position. Like, what was he changing position to? To like linebacker? Like, what else is my man gonna do? To receiver? Like,
I didn't hear I didn't hear this rumor. Did you, Cooper?
Yeah, like in passing though. I don't really know much about it. I don't know like the validity.
Yeah, I
of
didn't
it.
follow up with it because it made no sense. It was like, what do you mean, bro? You're a running back.
maybe to receiver or something, but I don't think there's a lot he could.
He's a bit heavy and short for a receiver, I would think.
Well, like
Saquon wants to get as far from defensive linemen and linebackers as possible. Actually, let me rephrase that. He wants to get as far away from his offensive line as possible. So just put him out wide.
He's like, please, dude. Like, I can't block for me. I keep on getting injured. I can't do it. This is really a roster that are kind of like shit or get off the pot, man. You got Sean Barkley, who's been great. Barkley has been great since he's been in the league, but the guy can't stay on the field. So you could argue he's actually been pretty terrible since being in the league. Same thing with his quarterback, Mr.
Daniel Jones.
Mr. Danny Dimes himself. I mean, the dude can
He should be a receiver instead of Barkley. Did you see him make that one-handed catch last year?
Yeah, that was impressive.
I think I did see that actually.
He is fast too.
He's fast as
He's
hell.
insanely athletic. I think in terms of pure athleticism, he's probably like a top 10 most athletic quarterback in the NFL.
Sure.
The dude has like Carson Wentzism though, where he just will make like 2 to 3 insanely stupid plays a game that can't remember more than his good plays.
And his receiving core, like he has Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, and then they brought in fucking Kenny Galladay with him. So it's like the dude's got people to throw the ball to. He had Kyle Rudolph too. Like, what are you?
That's
doing?
crazy. Tyrod Taylor ended up over here too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good old Tyrod Taylor. Hopefully no one.
I mean, they need a competent backup. Jones can't stay on the field.
100%.
It's not Mike Glennon, so.
Tyrod Taylor's got a big year, dude. Mike Glennon for sure is on somebody's roster, making probably $1 million or so this year. Good for him. Fucking guy.
Good for him.
Fucking
no hate.
drafted back in the day, like. He hung out with us while we were trash, and he was trash. It was all good. We're like, we're trash, you're trash. Come on in here.
We're the trash guys.
Yay! He would win us 1 or 2 games. I was like, oh, Mike Glennon! And then,
dude,
that was good enough to just be a backup for the rest of his career, man. It's pretty cool.
He's built like a Q-tip. Looks like a human version of a Q-tip.
Good old Mike Glennon. But yeah, so this is the good old roster from the Giants, man, and I don't know what to say. They got plenty of talented receiver. Oh, they even drafted Tooney, who, frankly, I'm already not a fan of. He was whining about game time last year. Like, dude,
I'm not gonna lie. The more we go down this roster, the more I'm seeing guys who I'm like,
Right.
oh yeah, this guy has like pretty high upside, but he's like
Yeah.
never on the field.
Straight up. What is going on with this?
They have like
roster?
no like reliability in their skill positions. Looks like, but I do like their draft though. I think they had a pretty good draft.
Yeah. Okay. They did have a lot of early picks. You're right. I do remember them getting some good picks. They took Thibodeau, didn't they?
Yeah, and Evan Neal too.
Okay. Yeah, they're in good shape. They have a hell of a roster. Who's the coach over here now?
It was Joe Judge.
Right.
It's Brian Dabble now.
Oh, right. Okay. I have no idea who that is, but good luck, Mr. Dabble.
Brian Dabble, who was recently badmouthed by former Patriot Bethel Johnson on a podcast.
Oh, no.
Bethel Johnson played for us in like 2003 and 2004. It was a super long time ago, but yeah, he just talked about how Brian Dabble just like didn't really know what he was doing as the receivers coach because he didn't, have the necessary experience at receiver, and it really sullied his time in New England. He has respect for other people in the organization, but I thought it was pretty surprising to see like an 18-year-long grudge come up just randomly from Bethel Johnson out of all people.
He was probably just looking for something to say on the podcast, but yeah.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
He was a great return man.
He was a good return man?
Yeah.
All right, so week 1, they're probably going to get their ass kicked by the Titans. I think this Panthers team over there with Baker Mayfield is going to figure... One of those two is going to figure it out, and I think they take this game in week 2. What do you think?
I think the Giants aren't... They got to win one game. This is a game maybe they'll win.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Like, I'm hard-pressed to say that they get any wins outside of the NFC East, besides maybe if they play, like, Chicago or Seattle, maybe.
Well, this is the NFC South, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
They get Jacksonville and Houston, too. They play the AFC South. That's their division. So, they have a couple layup games, but, like, just like we saw last year, they looked like a sort of competent team at times, but they had a few injuries, and their lack of, competent depth just completely showed. They were running quarterback sneaks on 3rd and 9 because they were afraid to roll the dice. Like, that's just so crazy to me.
Absolutely. No, they're crazy, dude. And as most of the Sports Bike Podcast family are Cowboys fans, taking them to win this game here, but they usually split with the Cowboys every year. It's ridiculous. So hopefully the Cowboys...
Did they split with Dallas last year?
What's that?
Did they? I know they beat Philly last year, and they blew it against Washington last year. I can't remember if they beat Dallas though.
I think they split with them. Which
Let me look it up while we move on.
Anyway, so then they got the Bears, which is once again not a terrible, impossible game for them to win. So where's that one? That's in MetLife, so they're at home for that one. I don't know. They could possibly pull that off.
That's a game that like only people who have Saquon Barkley in fantasy are going to watch. I bet they'll both be like 1-2 or 0-3 at that point.
Course, besides the fans of those two teams, but yes, I full-heartedly agree.
I don't know, dude. I'm friends with a lot of Giants fans. Some of them can't even stomach watching their team play at this point.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Oh, wow. And they got game in London against the Packers.
The Cowboys beat them both times last year.
Okay. Never mind, Cowboys. That's funny good for the London crowd. They're going to get to see the Packers in action. So that should be interesting.
And the Giants, maybe.
Yeah, well, anyway.
No, I don't mean to shit on the Giants too hard, but I don't really know much about their offseason. As far as I know, it's been pretty uneventful. And
I mean, going over that roster actually gave me a little bit more confidence in them than I originally had felt before this podcast. But I still don't think they're going to do very well. They're probably going to get rolled here by the Ravens. I think they could take the Jaguars, though. I think they'll be able to beat I think they got the Seahawks, too. Shit, we got a couple wins stacking up here. We could probably have, 4 or 5 here, Coop. Going into the bye week, they could have 5 or 4 wins here. That's not
What's their Vegas line for win total? I'm going to see what it is.
Yeah, look it up. But that's not terrible. Going in, and you're coming out of that, you got Houston and the Lions? Come on. We could have
They could probably, if they protect their kneecaps, specifically Saquon Barkley's kneecaps. If they protect his kneecaps, they're fine.
Hopefully they can survive that. But yeah, dude, this doesn't look unrealistic at all. They could be 7-5 or 7-3 or whatever.
Yeah, they have a pretty favorable schedule. Vegas has them at 7.5 for wins. That's actually insane. 7.5 is super high.
About that.
It's not bad happy because, dude, they got a lot of
They-
possibilities to win. And then they got the Commanders week 13. What were we going to say, Corey?
They went 4-13 last year.
Yeah, but look at the schedule. They're playing hobos. It's Hobo
Yeah.
Central. Like, I mean, they got they like the Lions, the Texans, Jaguars, Seahawks. Like, they could go on a 4-game win streak there.
After we get off this call, I think the first thing you want to do is put money on the Giants not getting 7.5 wins. I think that's the first thing I'm going to do. I don't understand that line at all, and I'm trying to rationalize it in my head, and I
But we
can't.
just went over this roster, all right? So, like, picture the other teams' rosters. We haven't quite got over those. But, I mean, like, we just went over the Seattle roster, me and Corey, last week. And they definitely was not.
They don't got a lot.
There was not as many names as we saw with them.
Well,
The
all
Jaguars-
the good players we saw on the Giants roster are guys that, like,
Are going to
you
get
count
hurt
on
by
them being
week
high
5.
upside guys, but, like, they're not all going to pan out, you know?
Yeah, you're not
Like,
wrong.
just based on, like, statistics, you know?
That's-
I wouldn't expect, you know, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Kenny Galladay, Darius Toney. Like, one of those guys isn't going to be able to step up the way that the Giants are relying on him to, you know?
You're not wrong.
Right.
They are relying on a lot of people who haven't quite been able to do it in the past. So, yeah, they got a lot to prove. But holy cow, they're set up for success, man. They got a great schedule.
I
Yeah.
think
And
that
kinda hard with the
7
Colts.
win is the 7 win is probably dependent on them beating the Washington Commanders.
I like the Commies.
Like-
I think they're going to be better than people think next year.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I believe
I
in
think
Wentz.
they're probably going to beat the Giants. I think they can beat the Giants,
What, you think
but
they'll
I think
split
that's
them?
what that line is depending on.
They also have an insanely easy road to the playoffs next year. If they can get competent play out of Carson Wentz, then I don't really see a reason they can't win
Do they have a good roster?
at least like 9 games, you know?
We'll 100% cover them in the future, but I mean, yeah, they might actually have a pretty good roster. You might be right about that. Either way, insanely weak NFC in general. I mean, it keeps on coming up in conversation that the AFC are just a bunch of murderers over there. So, I guess we can. I guess as a Buccaneers fan, Corey Cowboys fan, we can count ourselves lucky to be out of that slaughterhouse. Good luck in there, Coop.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun to see us have to play Cincinnati, Buffalo twice,
You guys have
the Ravens,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Colts, the Raiders.
Even the Steelers. Like, people are counting out the Steelers, and it's like, it's still Steeler Nation. Like, I don't know, man. I've never seen.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not a guaranteed dub for the Patriots.
No, not at all.
Like I was saying earlier, our offense always struggles at the beginning of the year because guys just haven't really gotten fully in tune with it yet. That defense could cause a lot of problems for us. I'd honestly think they have a better chance of beating us if they started Mitch Trubisky than Kenny Pickett.
Wow. Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with that.
Mitch
I guess
Trubisky
we
has
got-
succeeded against Belichick defenses before. Kenny Pickett's going to get eaten alive out there.
Trubisky, I feel like, isn't as terrible as he's made out to be. So he's got another year to prove it here. Hopefully he can figure it out a little bit because I don't think he's as bad as he's made out to be, you know?
Yeah. Well, Mitch will choose like 3 or 4 games a year where he'll just look like, you know, Patrick Mahomes. And
It's the same draft class, right?
yeah, near the end of his Bears stint, those 4 games all came in a row at the end of the season, and I was like, for a hot minute, I was like, holy shit, is he actually good now? Like, is this real?
Hey,
And then-
getting away from Chicago on Matt Nagy, I'm sure helped.
Yeah. Just having a year to, like, develop under a better quarterback than him and have people kind of forget what happened in Chicago since
Yeah.
it's been 2 years now.
Mhm.
I mean, that was massive for his market value.
For sure. It was pretty crazy what he got paid, but you like you said, you have a couple good games in the NFL, people are going to take a chance on you.
That's what AB's going to do. The more time that passes between Antonio Brown taking his clothes off and running away,
I was
the more
watching the
time
game live.
between the present and that is going to be like when I first saw that, I was like, holy shit, this guy's never going to play in the
Right.
NFL again. Never
Yeah.
seen that happen before, but there's always going to be a team desperate enough if he's still able to run routes and play football
Yes,
at a
he
high
is.
level, which I think he is, you
The guy
know.
was dominating.
How old is he?
As he got injured, he got dominating. He's like 29, 30.
Oh, wow, he's
He's-
still young.
I think he's a little bit older than that, but whatever age he is, he's like 2 years younger in football years because he's taken so much time off.
Yeah, no, that's true. And the guy still was running amazing routes for the Buccaneers. Like, there's a lot of he said,
Yeah.
she said about what happened over there, but overall,
Brady loved
He's
him.
34.
I think he's crazy. But
Yeah.
The dude can run routes like nobody else. Probably the best route runner in the whole NFL. It's ridiculous. Like still, it's and he was like he had his ankle all fucked up last year, and was still just running ridiculous routes around the Jets. In that very game, he ran off like a psychopath. So yeah.
What's weird though is so he's older than Julio Jones, and I guess Julio Jones has just been consistent. He didn't take those 2 years off, so that's why people are saying he's old and beat up. Because so Antonio Brown is 34, Julio Jones, they're showing a comparison here. He's 33. So, it's a 1 year difference, but I guess it's a 2 years worth of football play.
Yeah, and also Jones just had a rough year last year. Like I think he just wasn't on the field much, and when he wasn't like super effective. So that's the people are.
And used to a new system.
People have.
I mean, he spent his whole career over there in Atlanta. All of a sudden, he has to learn something new.
Yeah, you also just the type of receiver he is. It wears on you eventually. So to go ahead and wrap this up here, going into the last interview because we have insider information about a forward jackal, a jackal forward, if you will. But before we do that, Cooper, would you like to go ahead and bring it home with our last non-sponsor sponsor of the day? Who do you have for us?
Yeah, sure. For my guest non-sponsor sponsor, I'm going to shout out Vladimir Vodka.
Yeah.
I was out last night in Philly with a good friend Raheem, and I went to the bar to buy a shot, and it was like $10, which is just so batshit that people, including myself, pay $10 for a shot.
100%.
And it just makes me thankful that there are like good, honest, reputable companies out there like Vladimir Vodka that sell entire handles for $12. The return on the investment on a handle of Vlad is possibly the greatest ROI you're going to get in any type of alcohol you see on the market. So, if you need 5 easy blackouts for $12, I would say Vlad is the way to go.
This kid.
I mean, that's some great advice.
We're hanging out in Pennsylvania last weekend. This guy just starts pouring himself these huge Vlad screwdrivers and just sits it out in the boiling hot sun of this creek. And like it was not covering him much. So he was mostly just sitting in the fucking heat, just pounding fucking screwdrivers.
Yeah, and I was happy. So
fucking champion.
That's all that matters.
Absolute champion.
At the end of the day, you're responsible for your own happiness, and if vodka makes you happy, then vodka is the answer.
That was as close to inner peace as I've ever gotten in my life.
That's awesome.
You know what? This is
my version of going to church.
This out of Cooper. He's just an absolute. You know what, dude? Vlad Vodka should reach out to you and have you as their endorsement man, because you, since I've known you, you have been an endorser, a supporter, and just generally a Vlad man.
It's the most financially responsible thing to buy if you're gonna have some fun.
That's bang for your buck, absolutely. So anyway, on the podcast I've mentioned before that I am lucky enough to know a Dallas Jackal by the name of Raheem Powell. We have insider information though, because Cooper O'Connell was interviewing him just last night for this very conversation we're having right here for Sports by Compian, and he didn't even know it. Isn't that correct, Cooper? Shit, I lost your voice there. Hello?
Still hear me? Hello?
Yeah. All right, there you are. All right, cool. So I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying that I'm happy to do undercover work for the show.
100%.
Seriously, Patriots / Jackals insider.
Good, because this is a Jackals team that didn't find a win last year in the very competitive Major League Rugby, league. So should they just go ahead and put in Raheem Powell if they want to win? Is this like a Booby Miles moment? Like, you want to win? Put Raheem in! Oh shit, that rhymed. But yeah, you know what I mean? The Friday Night Lights, that's what I'm looking for. You want to win, maybe put Powell in. What do you think about all this, Cooper?
I have to agree. I know that the Jackals are under new management this year, so the roster might look a little bit different, but Raheem is going back. He's spending the month here in the States. Not the States, in this specific state, Pennsylvania.
Right.
Before going back to Dallas. But I know he's been working hard this offseason. He was a rookie last year, still learning the system, still getting accustomed to the superstar, fast-paced life of being a pro athlete.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a big boom his sophomore year.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What did he say? What did he say about the coaching? What do they like him over there? I think he won some type of like rookie of the year for them or some shit.
Oh yeah, he won most improved player on the team.
Right.
Good job mentioning that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude. The dude's a stud for them, and I think this is a Jackals team he could definitely get on the field and make an impact because they're gonna have an upfield battle, looking for their first couple wins in this league. Although it looks like they're signing some guys and doing some things. I actually wanted to train with him this off season. Didn't quite line up, but in the future that would be a good time to go train with our very own Raheem Powell, because he's out there repping the Susquehanna name. This dude was
True.
an absolute animal in college. Cooper got to play with him a lot longer than I did, but to this day, I mean, I've run into like a couple other guys who are almost as hard to tackle, but like this dude just had so much power in his stiff arm, and he would like get you like right in the chest, and then try to drive you into the ground, and you're like, it's only one arm, it won't be so bad. No, it was bad, and it was like a very powerful one arm coming down to try to crush you into the ground. So, yeah, you got to hope you have friends around. Otherwise,
I think I remember this dude. In the one game I saw, I remember seeing a very large gentleman with a very dangerous stiff arm harming other poor gentlemen that made the mistake of trying to tackle him.
yeah, we got to be able to pull a picture up with this guy. Like, I pulled up the Dallas Jackals, but
You know, it's funny. I played with him in high school too. So I watched him like learn how to play rugby in a way. I think he played for the middle school team for a year before joining the high school team with me. But like we put him in B-side games, and he would use his stiff arm like on defense because he was just that strong. And he would just clothesline dudes and get carded for it. And it was the most entertaining thing to watch, as fucked up as it was. We're like, dude, you have to rap. And I think he eventually figured out the whole rugby thing pretty well for himself, though.
Oh, I remember he was like the voice of the scrum, you know, and like as a sophomore, I thought that was kind of impressive, and there was just no question that he was definitely the best forward in our pack. The guy was just an absolute animal. We couldn't pull up a picture of our young Raheem Powell, but you could go look him up. He has some amazing hair right now, and you should look him up, support him, follow him, because we got a rising star, and Sports by Compian knows him. Cooper O'Connell's our insider who will keep close eyes on him. And we will
if you like sports and like cheap sporting events, there's an MLR team in your area. I mean, tickets are super cheap.
Yeah, 100%.
We went to the Dallas game. I think our tickets were $40 for like front row seats, basically.
Really?
It's a really fun time.
That sounds
really
great.
fun people to just hang out and watch a game with. Love the rugby community. So,
Always good.
yeah.
Always great. The rugby community is always amazing. I would be down to go see that next year, dude. We should definitely hook that up. And maybe we'll like record a live podcast out there. On the street.
Is there a Chicago team?
I don't think so. Which is kind of crazy. Let's look this up. Why don't we have a Chicago team?
Quick hard-hitting question. What happened with the two teams that the president got pissed off at the rugby league and just dropped them out of the league? I think it was like Los Angeles and Austin were the two teams the dude pulled.
I don't know what happened with that. I guess he's just gonna come back next year and we're gonna pretend like it never happened. Like I don't really know how that works, but yeah, they just sort of moved on with their day from that.
Well, I think the GM was giving these dudes royalties that like weren't in their contract, which can't do, I guess.
How dare he pay his players more money?
I want to say maybe it's the same dude, maybe it's similar management, but that was the story for both those teams that got in trouble. They were like being. What I heard was that like some dude was like given a bar, like ownership of a bar.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I can't remember the full story. I wish I did now.
But I'm here for any type of thing to help these guys get paid more, man. Like, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of them are not making a livable wage, and it's like you're doing your normal job and trying to be a star running back rugby athlete. Like, it's going to be hard to develop the U.S. rugby league if this is what we're going to be doing. Because we need to. We're fucking over here losing to Chile. Like, it's like, Jesus. You can get it together. You hear about that, Coop?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and overall, you know, I don't think that the owner paying these players is the bad guy here.
No, like, come on, man, let's move on. Like, whatever your stupid little rules are, it's like, oh, well, it's not fair because then, yeah, Corey, go ahead. I'm sure
that's why they have a salary cap, right? Like, does this league have a salary cap?
I'm sure it does. Yeah, I think the salary cap is like 200,000 or 300,000. I think we looked this up in a previous episode. It's pretty ridiculous.
So it's one of those things where Well, it just needs to get more eyes on it then.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's the same issue with the women's NBA. Like, there's just not enough people watching it for there to be money.
Yeah, USA Rugby in general needs to take. I hope it takes a step forward. It just doesn't make sense. The community is so good. It's so much fun to watch, and I think people are just really underestimating it because most people don't know about it really. And I don't know, maybe they have a skewed perception of it all, if you will. But yeah, there's going to be some awesome Major League Rugby coming up here. Some World Cup rugby coming up. The U.S. can still get in. They got to win their round robin against some hobo teams. So hopefully they can pull this off. Anyway, any parting words for the people there, Corey or Cooper?
Eat more tacos, man. Just
more
like
tacos, like seriously.
Just find a day in your week where you can eat tacos. It doesn't have to be specifically a Tuesday. People always say, "Oh, it's got to be a Taco Tuesday." Misinformation. You can have tacos any day of the week or every day of the week if you so choose.
Yeah, the Russians are trying to confuse you by telling you it has to only be on Tuesdays. Don't let the Russian propaganda get to you. Anyway,
Fake news can be any day of the week.
Thanks for tuning in to Sports by Compian. You guys have an awesome day.